Hi friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. My name is Sarah, also known as Laugh Love Langella, and in today's video we are going to be talking all about Christmas florals that I love to use for the season, as well as some decorating ideas, some styling tips. I did do this video the past 2 years as well, so I want to make sure that you feel like you're watching something different because it can get very repetitive year after year. But without wasting any more time, let's talk florals. So I'm just going to rapid fire go through some of my favorite florals that I love to reuse year after year. I have acquired quite the collection at this point in time and really love to reuse some favorites that I have. So one that I picked up last year was this gorgeous cedar branch. This I got at a boutique in Blowing Rock. I was able to source a very similar stem. You could argue they're the same stem from a floral. It is pricier than what I paid at the boutique. However, it is a statement floral. A floral always has sales going on too, so sign up for their newsletter so you can save. But why I love this stem so much is it's the softer, real touch. It has a really nice natural movement to it. And the biggest thing I pay attention to with my stems are what the branches look like. That just makes all the difference of having something that is so clearly fake versus getting up on it and noticing that it is. I just love that this looks like I walked outside and forged it. So this is one of my absolute go-to favorites that I will reuse year after year. And when it comes to my Christmas and winter decorating, you will notice that I reuse a lot of the same stems for that as well. For Christmas, I focus more on the green tone stemmed, and for the winter decorating, I like to have ones added in the mix with more of a blue hue to them. So another one of my favorites are the Norfolk stem. I know some people like this, some people don't. I like to layer this with other stems. I think it has such a whimsical look to it and is really pretty. I have both the Kirklands and a floral ones. They are arguably the same. So save yourself the money, buy them through Kirklands. I know World Market has their own version. Hobby Lobby has their own version. The Kirklands ones are my favorite in terms of the budget-friendly bunch, but these are really fun. I used them on my kitchen island styling recently, and I layered them in with a cedar stem that was also from At Home last year. They unfortunately did not bring it back, which is so surprising because it was a really great stem. Honestly, At Home didn't bring back a lot this year. This is another one from At Home that I love. It's a blue spruce type of stem, and again, it has that soft, real touch. It has great movement to it. The actual stem detailing is much more faux than that first one I showed you, so that's where you start to notice the difference of a designer type of stem versus a budget-friendly type of stem. Sometimes you get the collision of best of both worlds and it's budget-friendly and looks amazing, and sometimes you find ones that have a great greenery detail, but maybe the branch is lacking and vice versa. This one I love to use for my winter decorating. As I mentioned, unfortunately, it is not brought back, but I will try to find something similar to share with you guys. I love layering these with other ones, but I also style them by themselves on our built-ins, and they're just such a beautiful looking stem. Another one, this is actually from Hobby Lobby. It's really a beautiful green color. I really, for my evergreens, also like to pay attention to the hue of green. I avoid Kelly green. I don't want that bright lime tone type of look. So pay attention to those little things, so they do make the difference in your styling. Sometimes you will have some stems that have a little bit of brightness to it. So like if you look at the Norfolk, there's a couple little pieces that have it slightly brighter, but overall it's still a more muted color tone. I also love looking for stems that have different texture in them. So some of them will have a little twig detail, some have pine cones, which I especially love to use. I do have a couple of faux pinecone stems as well. Both of them are unfortunately sold out, so I can't link them. But this is a really great budget-friendly one. And Hobby Lobby also has a pick version. I say pick because it's like a stem, but just smaller. A pick, I would think, is something you put in a tree. It's too big for that. But I have it styled in the brass wall vessel next to our front door, as well as the basket in our kitchen. I also got these this year from Pottery Barn. They are this gorgeous pine branch with the pine cones again. And just so you can see a side by side, these are that beautiful, soft, real touch. They look super realistic, but just so you can see a side by side of a designer branches detail versus a budget-friendly detail. There is a notable difference. However, pick and choose your battles with stuff. I do feel like sometimes it's worth spending the extra money and saving up to get that really nice stem. And sometimes you can get away with getting a budget-friendly one. It all depends on what you're going for. So a stem like this, I would layer a lot in, so you honestly won't even see the branch. But for the one I used in my entry space, for reference, I used 3 stems in my entry space of this one. So I will put an overlay clip so you can see how it is styled. This one is worth the splurge to me because it has such beautiful detailing and you can actually see it as well. So just take note of where you want things, what you want seen when it comes to selecting the florals that you're going to use throughout your home. Another honorable mention of a favorite is this juniper stem. I got these off of Etsy, I want to say 3 years ago now, and they are some of my absolute favorites to decorate with for both Christmas and winter decorating. For winter, I really love bringing in the blue hues, like I mentioned with the spruce ones, but these are super pretty. If they are still available, I will have them linked in the video description, as well as anything else I can. And I also got the Pottery Barn Juniper bundle as well. I forgot to grab it, so I'll put a clip of it. But that one is super pretty, and it's technically 2 stems put together with just some jute, so you could take them apart if you wanted to as well. But those are some of my go-to greenery stems for decorating for the holidays. Now, as far as our supporting actors, our accent stems, for early Christmas decorating, I really like to stick in a more neutral direction. You won't see me using red berry stems at all when it comes to early Christmas, but after Thanksgiving, that's when I transition everything. So I will swap out my ribbon for a deep burgundy color. I will add in or change out any berry stems to red berry stems. That is just how I like to decorate our home and how I've enjoyed it for the past few years. But some really great stems to add in for the season. These are where I pay attention a lot to texture. And so I found these really great stems. They were from Bonnie's small shop this year, and some of you were able to grab them as well. I use these also on our kitchen island with the Cedar stems and the Norfolk stems, and they are so incredibly pretty. They're just a very organic look, have a really great twig detail to them as well, which I love. I do also, I forgot to grab it for this video, so I apologize. I have these brown twig stems from Michael's that I have used for years now for my fall and Christmas/winter decorating. Super subtle way to bring in texture. And no matter if you like to decorate with plain greenery or a flacked greenery, they work for either one. So I will have those linked below as well. These white berry ones are one of my go-tos for early Christmas and winter decorating. They are from Hearth and Hand at Target. I previously got mine about four years ago. They discontinued them, and then this year they brought them back, which is super exciting. So I grabbed 2 or more of them because they are some of my favorites to use each and every year. And again, are just a nice subtle way of bringing in some texture and variation in an arrangement to help break up all of the greenery and just brighten it up. So these ones are really great, nice and budget friendly. I know that Hearth and Hand has some red berry options as well. And then two more that I really like to use are these iced twigged ones from Hobby Lobby, especially for Christmas and winter decorating. For Christmas, I really like to go maximal with my arrangements. I want it to look whimsical and fun, and so I really like to do things that help bounce the light around and everything. I know they make light up twig branches as well. I have a couple budget-friendly ones from Target from a few years ago, but these are super fun. They tend to not have them in stock, or I don't know if they even brought them back. Hobby Lobby, surprisingly, did not bring back a lot of stems that they have in the past, which was very surprising. One of them being one of my absolute favorites, which is this red berry one. These I absolutely love, and I am so happy I grabbed more of them last year because now I can't get them. And it wasn't a matter of me not seeing them, even checking the website, they weren't available. So that was a bummer, because if you're just starting out or you're looking to add more to your collection or you missed out last year, it's nice to be able to still get your hands on something. But these are some of my absolute favorites, and you will see me utilize these after Thanksgiving when I'm refreshing my spaces for Christmas. And I also grabbed a couple of these last year and cut up the different branches of them to make picks. And so I was able to use it in my coffee table arrangement and in my garland over my entryway mirror. But these are so, so pretty. I will try to find some other red berry options and have them in the video description for you guys. I still have my eye out looking for some other options for myself, but as I always say, early bird gets the worm. You have to be shopping Christmas so early or everything's gone. And that's the issue I'm running into, is that I can no longer find things in stock. And that is why I always tell you guys, I know it's crazy, I share stuff in September and October for Christmas, but come November, you can't get your hands on it. So those are some of my favorite stems to decorate with for the Christmas season. Now we're gonna get into some styling. So something I want to start off with when it comes to floral arrangements is the importance of fluffing your stems. So just so you can get a quick side-by-side, this is a stem, this is that organic one I got from Bonnie's shop that I was mentioning earlier. This is one that I have fluffed, and this is one straight out of the package. And this one has so much more of a natural appearance to it, and it's going to integrate a lot better in my evergreen stems. So taking the time to fluff really makes a difference. So what I like to do is individually go around, bending them in different directions, kind of squiggling sideways but up and down as well, just because nothing is growing perfectly straight out anyways. And that's really what helps enhance the look of your arrangements as well. Same with your Christmas tree, taking the time to fluff it really makes it look that much nicer. And so you can already see what's happening a little bit. It's still fairly flat this way, but that's when you want to start paying attention, having things going different directions, and it'll just make that much more of a difference in your styling. So if you're ever wondering why my arrangement looks different than how you see stems in Hobby Lobby, for example, on display, this is what makes the difference with it. So I will bend each of these different portions, and then once I get to the main one, I will bend that also. And you can see it already looks that much better than when we first started with this. So my first styling today is actually going to be the one that I did on my kitchen island for my early Christmas styling. And then I will show you how just swapping out one stem of an accent to another one changes the overall look of it. So we'll get right into this one. So for this arrangement, I am using my large Antonia vase from McGee & Co. And I have this gorgeous green velvet ribbon that was from Hobby Lobby. And I love to decorate more neutral before Thanksgiving. And then after, I will swap this out for a burgundy because I decorate so early. So we are going to start off with my foundational stems. So that's going to be my evergreens. And I used 3 of the Norfolk and 3 of these Cedar stems that were from At Home last year. They unfortunately did not bring them back, which is so sad because I thought that they had such a realistic look in comparison to other stems I've found at a really great price. I love too that they have a little twig note as well, but these are gorgeous. Hopefully some of you were able to get your hands on them last year. But if you'll see, I have these kind of cascading so they can help hang over these Norfolks. And when it comes to my stems, I prefer to bend them rather than cut them because I don't want to be tied to them being in only one vessel. I want to be able to swap them around different places. And the easiest way for me to accomplish that is with electrical tape. You can also use floral tape, painter's tape, whatever you want to do. And I will literally just tape the stem itself because, and I've mentioned this so many times, I'm going to keep mentioning it. I broke a vase last year because this portion got caught at a 90-degree angle and completely busted through the side of my vase, and I still am upset about it. Can you tell I haven't moved on? So we will just take some electrical tape, have your stem bent around, and just go around it about like 7 or 8 times about. And that way it's so much easier for you to remove your stems without breaking your vessel. So we're doing our foundational one first. I am overlapping the Norfolk and the Cedar with each other. And then I will also bring in those accent ones. And I like to layer them in rather than putting all of one and all of another because I want it to look fully incorporated. So for reference with this larger island arrangement, I am using 3 different stems and 3 of each of those for a total of 9, depending on the fullness of the stems that you are using. Sometimes you can get away with 5. I do like to decorate in odd numbers. I feel like it helps create more balance, especially when it comes to your arrangements. And here is a finished look at our first arrangement. If you notice any stems that are not sitting perfectly how you would want them to, now is the time to go in, bend them a little bit more, have them kind of cascade down as they naturally would. I also like to take my greenery and put it in between the accent stems so that way everything is nicely combined rather than just sitting right on top of each other. But here is our first styling. Now, I'm keeping things super simple and using the same foundational greenery for this next look. Christmas and winter evergreens do not need to be overly complicated, so keep it simple for yourself so that way it's timeless each and every year, and focus on your accent stems for bringing in that new look. So now we are back down to just our foundational greenery, and we're going to swap it out for some white berry stems. So if you like to go in a more neutral direction with your decorating, this is a super subtle way to just introduce another texture in the mix and give that little bit of detail. I'm going to use 3 as well for this size arrangement. When you are decorating a kitchen island arrangement, a dining table, you want to make sure you're paying attention to every single side of your arrangement looking even If you're decorating a vessel that is on your entry table or a nightstand, you have a flat wall behind it, so you can just focus on the front half rather than the entire thing. But just adding those white berry stems instead helps brighten up the greenery, but is still a delicate touch that's not overpowering the whole thing. And now we're going to do the same thing, remove the white berry stems and add in the red ones that are older from Hobby Lobby instead to bring that true Christmas look. And these are those red berry stems that I have from Hobby Lobby. And these make such a gorgeous, gorgeous statement. So we're going to do 3 of these as well. And as you can see, some of them I'm tucking under another stem, some I'm leaving over. Then I can take the smaller pieces, bring them towards the front to give some fullness here too. So don't be afraid of manipulating your stems more. Don't be afraid of removing and redoing it. Play with it and have fun. That is what all of this is about. I love the vibrant pop of color that this stem brings in. It gives such a whimsical look to my arrangements, and I look forward to breaking them out each and every year. All right, so now we're doing a vessel change, just so you can see something else in the mix. This wooden pot is from Golden Oldies Antiques. I have a couple from them actually, and one from my friend Kate's Etsy shop, Gray on Elm as well. But I wanted to throw a different vessel so you can get a different look here. And we're going to change our foundation greenery as well. And I'm bringing in these blue spruce stems that are older from At Home. I styled these by themselves on my built-ins in this pot actually, and really love the look of it. But I want to give you guys a more winter type of arrangement. And so these are going to be our foundation. I had mentioned earlier, I love the play of the stem. It has such a naturally good movement to it. And that's what I like to look for as well when I am picking my faux florals. Sometimes you'll have little pieces pop off, but just look for the little plastic bud-like almost, and you can pop them right back on. Now for my accent stems here, we're gonna have some fun with it. I have these pinecone and twig ones that are older from Kirklands. They don't make these particular ones anymore, unfortunately. I have not seen them for years now, but they are some of my favorites too. So we're going to lay these in, and again, I'm kind of having you guys up and over so you can see better what I'm looking down at. I'm manipulating it so that I'm pulling the greenery in between some of this to better incorporate it. And I do have another one of these spruce stems if I feel like I need more coverage in the middle after all is said and done. We can add that in the mix as well. But these are so very pretty. I also have those floral pinecone and twig that are super fun. But now we're gonna add in these iced twig ones that are from Hobby Lobby. And these just really bring it up a notch to give it that whimsical look. They are difficult to work with. They don't have the wire throughout the whole thing like a lot of faux stems do. So just keep that in mind. That's why they're gonna kind of stick up a little unnaturally, so to say. But This is a faux floral arrangement and we're just having fun with it. Now you could very easily leave it just like this to keep it, again, on that more calm front, or you could add some white berries into the mix to brighten it up. You could do red as well if you prefer. I'm actually gonna grab some red ones because I've been playing with the white a lot. So just know you could add some white, or you could add some red. And I know a lot of you really, really like a lot of color, especially with your arrangements. So this one is for you, because normally I would actually prefer to do the white. That's just what I like to do, but there's nothing wrong with either. Whatever you like best for your home and your space is the right choice. And these stems are older from Target Hearth and Hand as well. They do tend to bring some sort of type of this each and every year. Mine have seen a little bit of better days, in all honesty, so you'll see some white spots on them, but they're still usable, so might as well. Then discussing some of my more focal stems. These I almost want to tag as do not play well with others because they are such a statement. It would overpower anything else you would pair with it. And you kind of sometimes need to go simple to make an impact. And this is one of the ones that I would classify that as. I did previously last year style this with the red berry stems from Hobby Lobby after Thanksgiving, and I am planning to do that as well. I still think that was super gorgeous, but I think that this really makes such an impact just leaving it as is. I think if I tried to add in the ice stems and a pine cone and a berry, you would lose how special these stems are. So sometimes it's okay to edit and reel it in, play around with it, have fun, and see what works for you, what you like. If you are ever finding that you are lost in an inspiration way or really struggling with pairing, Pinterest is a really great resource. You can just sit there and search organic Christmas arrangements, organic Christmas florals, entry styling. You might see some of my photos pop up as well. You can look on Instagram, but this one is super gorgeous on its own. I love it with the red berry stems as well, but I have a couple of other ones that are from Hobby Lobby and Pottery Barn that I think really shine by themselves as well. And so I'm going to style them over here because then you can see them better against the mirror. So for the Hobby Lobby ones, these are the pine bush and pine cone as well, and they are super pretty. I love the more muted green color that they have. This one I did style with the Michael's twig stem last year, and I did really like that, but the Michael's brown twig is so simple that it's okay. And so that's one that I would be fine pairing with this because the branch stem is a very similar color tone as well. And color tone is something you should definitely be paying attention to when it comes to your arrangements. And I just love being able to bend stems around to really mimic how I want them to lay. Whenever you are styling, leave your back stems taller
than your front stems. So I will bend my back stems less, so that way you can have variation in height. You don't want it to all fall flat sitting at the same point. And then again, bend everything around, manipulate it in whatever direction you want it to go. It just helps give it a more natural look and more life. And this is that last stem I was gonna style up here. This is from Pottery Barn. It's the pine and pine cone one. These are so incredibly pretty. The stem detail is really good on it. That's something to pay attention to when it comes to picking faux florals. And if you ever don't really know where to start in terms of bending or cutting, hold your stem outside of your arrangement and look at the top of your vessel and see where it lands in relation to it to know about how far you want to go. And so now you can see this back one is standing so much taller than the other two. And I want that on purpose because, like I mentioned before, I don't want things falling flat and getting lost. But you'll see I will pull some of the stems forward, some to the side, so I can really help fill the space up. And also make sure when you are doing an entry arrangement or a nightstand, you don't need to worry about the back of it. Let it have a flat back, so that way you're not smashing it into your mirror or wall, and you can get away with using less stems as well, depending on how full they are. The Norfolks are not super full, so you need a lot to make a statement. These are very full, and I can get away with using 3, and it's still looking like a beautifully full styling. And lastly, discussing coffee table arrangements. You can approach it in a very simplistic way. You can have it be more full with lots of layers to add depth and visual interest. But something to keep in mind is where your line of sight is. Do you have a TV that's lower on a console table? Is it higher up on the wall? Keep note of that. You don't want to be blocking people's line of sight. If you're in the sitting room area, you want it more low profile. Our TV is higher up on the wall, so I can get away with taller vessels, but we also still sit and talk, and so I like to keep mine lower. And I'm keeping it super simple right here. This vessel is an antique one I got off of Etsy, and I have these juniper stems that also I got on Etsy that are so gorgeous, but I just kept it super simple and did this. If you want something that has the texture that this provides but more fullness, you can find a pine bush of some sort, add that into the mix, and that will help just give that much more volume to your arrangement. For my coffee table arrangements, I also do prefer to keep it more simplistic. but still coordinated with what my entry vessel or my island has going on it, because I want the star of the show to be my entry and my mantle garland. So I don't want it just feeling super busy and cluttered everywhere. These are the smaller version of the Hobby Lobby pine ones. So these are technically in the pick section, but they are just a shorter stem option, and I love to use these in my wall vessels, as I had mentioned, but also for my coffee table arrangements. And again, we can keep it super simple and just do the greenery. I think it looks really pretty on its own. And if you want something with a little bit more going on, I had also mentioned that I had cut up some of my red berry stems to add into my garland and also my coffee table arrangement. So if you can't find exactly what you're looking for, you can, in a way, make it happen. And I'm just making sure that I am putting some lower, some in the middle, and then I can put one also actually in the middle as well to make sure it is nice and balanced.
So that is going to wrap up today's video, friends. I sure hope you enjoyed seeing this doozy of a video talking about some of my favorite go-to stems for the Christmas and winter seasons, as well as some decorating ideas, styling tips, and hopefully give you some inspiration to jump off of when it comes to decorating your own home and spaces. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with me here today, friends, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.